So from next time onwards, I will be from another laptop. So I will check what all documents I need on my another laptop. I will shift that.
Okay. Can you share
Okay.
me
So
this document?
this one, no,
If
no, no, I will not be able to share this document. This is not. This is my personal one. This I cannot share. This is a MuleSoft one.
okay, okay. I
Okay.
mean, MuleSoft.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is not related to CourseJet. That's why I can't share this document. It's not allowed. Okay.
Okay, okay. Got it.
Even I have taken the snapshots and all by taking like this, and this is not even the mm, right thing. Okay. So for now, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot share. I need to delete it as soon as possible, even. So yeah,
Okay, okay.
that's why I always say, please don't take a snapshot for these documents. Whatever is
Mm-hmm.
important, I will give it to you. Like I always open that and I ask you to take the snapshot for that, but not for this one. Okay.
Okay,
If I
okay.
draw anything on paint, for that you can take the snapshot. For that, I'm fine with that. Okay.
Okay, okay, okay. Sure. I will do that.
Yep. So yes. So we have learned about the execution models, and now it says that processing models collect the options and behaviors related to the mule processing events by mule application components. Again, the theoretical part. Okay. So
Can you
this
reshare
is not
one, please? For time.
okay. Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, I changed my monitor, so it's okay.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Is it visible now?
Yes, now it's good.
Okay. Okay. So now how you are going to decide that which processing model should be used. So you are now aware of processing models, right? Those blocking and those synchronous, asynchronous and all, everything, right? So how you are
Mm-hmm.
going to decide which to use. Okay. So for deciding, it will involve various factors. Let right. So this is like throughput of the data, right? And the memory or the
Sorry,
CPU utilization.
sorry. Can you like repeat
Yes,
like before this one? Just like
yes.
yeah.
So for processing model, for deciding the processing model, like which one you have to use, like your blocking, your synchronous, asynchronous. You remember that list, right?
Okay, okay.
So for choosing the processing model, what various factors are there? So
Mm-hmm.
first one is your throughput of the data, okay, the memory and CPU limitation, the latency, response time, okay, message size, and everything. This will come in the requirement part, like what customer actually want. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
while taking the requirement from the customer, you only check that if they are saying that you have to extract the data from somewhere. Okay, let's say you have to extract the data from somewhere, you will be going to ask him that how huge will be the data, what will be the data size, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on that only you can do the calculation that if this is the data size, then minimum this number of vcores, minimum this ram is required to process, right? And
Okay.
based on the number of hits, like the frequency by which this flow will be executed, based on that you can think about the load balancing, right?
Okay.
So these are the factors based on which you will be deciding like which processing model should be used, like in which case you have to use queues, in which case you are going to use a normal listener, in which case you are going to have a scheduler, like that. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
So these are some factors. Okay.
Okay.
So this is not of any use. Again, exercise. This is also of no use. Okay. So now we have module 5. Okay. Module 4
Okay.
is done.
Mm-hmm.
Module 5 says choosing the appropriate message transformation and routing patterns. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That means, let's say, if you have some transformation, if you are extracting the data from a system, let's say you are having a database. Okay. So from
Okay.
database, you are extracting the data using the system API, right? In the processing
Yes.
API, what you will do? You will do some calculation, you will do some transformation, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
this by using the experience API, it will be shared with the customer, correct?
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah.
how
Yeah.
you are going to decide like how the message transformation and the routing patterns will be done. Okay.
Okay.
So in the end, it will be explained like how this formula will work. N minus 1 by 2. Okay.
Okay.
So N here will be the application, the API, you can say. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's work on that. So you are aware of application network, right?
Uh,
Application network, like mule application, how they are connecting to each other, how they are doing the nesting thing, right? How they are connecting to each other, the multiple application, let's say we are having 4 applications here, they are connecting to each
mhm.
other, right? So this
Yes.
is
Yes.
like a
Correct.
application network only. Okay.
Okay.
So at the end of this module, you should be able to describe the reusable ways to transform the message events. Okay. So how you are going to reuse your data weave code, how you are going to reuse the transformation. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
second
Mm-hmm.
thing is explain how to simplify and decouple the complex data mapping using common data models. Okay. So I will be
Okay.
explaining you what is common data model. Okay. So common
Okay.
data model, let me explain that in the layman terms, because it will come in later slides. So let's do it now only. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So let's say this is a system API. Okay. These are the system APIs. Okay. And here, let's say there are 2 process API. And let's say you have one experience layer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say you are having 2 experience.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say this data is being extracted from here and this data is being extracted from here. Okay. Similarly,
Mm-hmm.
data is being extracted from here and here. Okay. So common data model is you are sending the common format from here only, from the system layer only. Okay. So you have created a common format. Let's say this data is extracting from DB.
Okay.
This is extracting data from SAP,
Mm-hmm.
and this is now extracting the data from your Salesforce.
Okay.
Okay. So here you need some data from here, from here, from here. Let's say account information. From here also you need account information. Here also you need account information. Here also account information. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you extract from the database, you got 5 fields.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say from the SAP you are getting 6 fields. Okay. And let's say from Salesforce you are getting again 6 fields. Okay.
Okay.
So what you are going to do, you are creating a common format by which the data will be uh, picked up from here. That is the common data model. Okay. That means from here also you will be sending 6 fields. Okay. 6 fields
Mm.
are like name, account ID, account number. What else could be there? Address
Edge. Mm-hmm.
and phone number, right?
Okay.
And there could be one email also. Okay. So let's say from database, you are just getting these 5 fields.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But from SAP, you were getting all these fields. But the name was like account name. The spelling was account name. Okay. It was not name, it was account name in the SAP. Okay. From the Salesforce, you are all again getting these six fields. Okay. So while
Mm-hmm.
sending the data to the process layer, what you will do, you will make a common format here. Okay. That means you will be sending six fields: name, account, account number, ID, phone number, and email. Email will be null here from
Okay. Okay.
database. Okay. So from SAP also, what you will do, you will do the mapping here only. You will map account name to the name. Okay. And from here, you will be sending again name, account ID, account number, address, phone number, and now you also got email. So you will be sending email also. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, from Salesforce, no need to do any changes. You will be sending all six fields. Okay.
Okay.
So you created a common data format. Like from all these, you are sending the similar kind of data,
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
right? So it will be
Mm-hmm.
very helpful for your process API to work on that because you are getting a common data model here.
Okay.
Correct?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So this was related to the common data model. And next we have design transformations between data models. Okay. And choose the best event transformation, data validation, and event routing patterns. So let's start converting between the data models. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's say if you want to convert, the conversion can be done at the implementation level also, and conversion can be done at the API specification level also. Okay. So let's say your customer, not this one, sorry. Let's say your customer is having Swagger. Okay. Swagger.
Mm-hmm.
Open API specification. Okay. And you
Okay.
created another API that is using RAML. Two APIs, let's say, and both are using RAML. Okay. And you are trying to create a common data format and everything. Okay. So you want all your APIs to use RAML. So what you need to do, you need to first convert this Swagger into RAML.
Okay.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So this this is, I think so, that it can be done from the platform also. Okay. In the platform, I think there is one option by which you can convert this Swagger to RAML. Okay. That means what you will do, you will import the things, and from the exchange, while exporting, you can say that export as a RAML. Okay. This is one
Okay.
case. Other than that, there is one tool that is called API Matic. Let me give you that in the chat. By using
Okay.
API Matic also, you can convert one API specification to another type.
Mm-hmm.
Here?
Yep. So
Okay.
when we changing this, sorry,
Mhm.
from Swagger to Raml, so we don't need
Hmm.
any update, something like that. Just it's automatically change.
Uh, you will be just providing the Swagger. Based on the Swagger, your RAML will be created. Okay. There may be some changes that you have to done manually. Maybe because some tools doesn't work correctly, right? Because from
Mhm.
Mule 3 to Mule 4 also you can convert by using the tools, but that also not converted fully, right? Similarly,
Yes,
in this
correct.
case also, there could be some things that you may have to do manually.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So let's move to the next slide. That why are event transformation and routing patterns needed? Okay. So to identify the reusable ways to transform and process the event between the particular enterprise systems. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it is related to the reusability of stuff. Okay. How you are going to reuse your transformations and all, and why it is required. Okay. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
you are having one XML. Okay. And this XML needs to be converted into the JSON. the same XML needs to be converted into the XML also. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this XML to JSON and this XML to again XML that is of a different format, little bit different format from what you have received from the source. Okay, so what you can do, you can have different types of transformations. Okay, and let's say again you got one customer which or again wants this to be as JSON. Okay, then for that
Mm-hmm.
customer you will be again doing the transformation, which is wrong. Okay, so reusability comes here. That means you already converted it into the JSON, so you can use this common data transformation. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so defining the REST API data types. Okay, so in the REST, in the RAML also you can do the reusability by using the fragmentation, right? So data
Yep.
types in REST API. Let's say data types in REST API, the JSON is there, XML is there, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
REST API modeling language, you can use the RAML, you can use the Open API specification. Okay, Anypoint platform supports the interoperability between the OAS and RAML. As I told you that you can convert the OAS to RAML and also the RAML to OAS. Okay, that means whenever you publish the API, you will get one option to export it as a RAML or to export it as a Open API specification. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so by this you can do interoperability. That means converting from one to another. Clear?
Okay. Yep. Yep.
So using the transformation message. Yeah, using the transformation message component to implement the transformation. Okay, so you can use transform message to use this do the transformation. It converts the input data to the output data guided by the provided metadata. You are aware of this metadata, how to add the metadata?
When in the Anypoint Studio. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, 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 yes. So in transform message, right?
Yeah.
Here, this one,
Right.
you can define the metadata, right? So
Mm-hmm.
by this
Yep.
way, when you will go here, select this one, you can define the metadata for as an input and metadata for the output, so that you don't need to write the code. You will just do the drag and drop thing. By that, the data weave code will be created itself. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
So metadata can be auto-populated by inbuilt data sense also. In some cases, here, let's say in some cases, if you're having this transform message, before that transformation message, you have some request connector from where you are extracting the data, right? Your data sense will be able to sense the data. Let's say you are extracting the data from the Salesforce and you are having a Salesforce connector, and you are extracting the data from the accounts object of the Salesforce, right? So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
this data sense will be able to sense the data, that how the data will look like in the output of that particular connector. So it will
Mm-hmm.
automatically detect and add it as a metadata, right? Sometimes the
Okay.
data sensor do this by itself. After that, you can do the mapping. Okay. Uses the data weave language for transforming the data. Use drag and drop. We have already covered this thing. Yep, that's it. Okay. So how to access the metadata, this metadata editor? So
Mm-hmm.
you are already aware that how you will be getting that. It's
Mm-hmm.
just here only. Define the metadata. Okay. Once you select it, you can even edit it out by doing the right click, set metadata or edit metadata, and you can correct it out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, you can even define the metadata from here as well. So it will be like right click, mm, mule, okay, manage data, metadata types. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yep.
from here also you can define the metadata types. Clear?
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, how to populate the metadata for mule components? You are aware, since you know that how to get the metadata. It's the next step, right?
Yep, yep.
So data weave formats, readers and writers. Okay. So data weave format, you always define the meme types, right? In the starting, only in the header part, you define that the output will be your either CSV, your data weave, or your Java, JSON, and all. Okay. So these are some formats that you can provide. Okay. So these are
Okay,
the allowed formats. You can say that.
okay, okay,
Clear? And these are the, it says that this is the supported type for. So let me do one thing. You can take the snapshot for this. Okay.
okay. Give me one. Yep, I did already.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So next come is like you can invoke the flows from the data weave. You are aware of lookup function,
Yeah, yep.
right? So with the lookup function, you can invoke the flows from the data weave. Okay. You can create the data weave modules. So you are aware of reusable modules that you can create by yourself.
Which means in the DW in the project, no, no, source means
Yes.
something. Uh,
Yes. Yes. Let me show you. This is not allowed, but okay. Where's that billing? Mm, Please don't take any snapshot or anything. Okay.
okay, no, I'm not.
For this, not this one. So I created one module here. Okay. So you can create your own modules as well. So you are aware that WLang, right? In WLang, I have shown you that these are already existing modules, right? But
Mhm.
what if you want to create your own modules? So you can create your own modules as well. Okay. So in your module, what you can define all the functions that could be your reusable function. Okay. So I defined one function here. Okay. And now I want to use this function. How to use this function? Let me show you that. Mm, okay. First, what I need to do, I need to import that module. So it is like it is inside the package called modules, right?
Uh-huh.
Is inside
Okay,
modules, and this is common billing, right? So here I
okay,
defined like this, and for using this, how I use this here. Where's that, which this one, see, common billing, the function name was this, common bill. Clear?
okay.
By this you can use your reusable
Uh,
component or the function that is there in the modules. Okay. So
okay,
your
hold on.
modules will be always having your header part, not your body part. Clear?
So, okay, can you repeat one more time?
Okay. So you can create your own modules, your custom modules. But in
Okay,
custom modules, please be aware, please note that you can only have a header part. You cannot create a body. Okay. Only header is
uh-huh.
there. You cannot see that hyphen, 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 right? Only the
Yeah,
header is there. So you define the function. Okay. So
okay.
you can have multiple functions also. But for now, I want only one function. So I created one function only in this module. So
Mhm.
now you created this module. You can use this module in your multiple codes. Okay.
Okay,
You can
okay.
use
Mm.
this code in your multiple data weave codes. So I have used this one. How to use this? You first need to import the module. In other cases also, for existing also, you have to import, right? For runtime, I
Uh-huh.
imported like this, import star from runtime and all, right?
Correct.
Similarly, here also I have imported it first. Import modules like this. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Other option is like import star from modules. Then you can directly use the function name. It is similar to your existing function now because you have
Mm-hmm.
created this, right? And you can use
Okay.
this in multiple data weave codes. So this is a
Mm-hmm.
custom modules. This is how you can create custom modules.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Next is your Java methods. Okay. So let's say you created a Java class. I have one example for that as well. Mm, Okay. So in this case, what I did, I created Java files. Sorry. In this, I created some Java code. Okay. This is
Mm-hmm.
to list the files from the FTP server. Okay. I created this Java code. Okay. Now I want to use this code. I want to like trigger this code. How I'm going to do that? Okay. So let me show you. Not from here, just from here. So dynamic evaluator, I created this. And from here, I'm saying this one. No, 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 no. Again, wrong, wrong. Really sorry. Okay. So from listing, what I did in the transformation, I created a Java code, right? So this time I
Uh-huh.
have to write it like this: import Java. Okay. This com and this again colon colon Java file
Mm-hmm.
operation and list FTP files. This file name is
Mm-hmm.
list FTP file. And what was the package name? This one, file operations. See,
French. Uh-huh.
com dot java. Here you can see on the left hand side, com dot java dot file operations. So com colon colon java colon colon
Mm-hmm.
file operations, and this is the class name.
Okay. Okay.
Clear? And I want to
Yep.
use the function. This is my function which I want to extract. Okay. So from this class, I am using this list functions. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this is about the Java methods. Allows work to be offloaded from the data weave. For example, XLT transformation flows that use XML module invoke the method on the Java library to execute the business mapping logic. This is related to the Java only, what I have shown you.
Mm-hmm.
And XLT transformation flows that use XML module. Okay. Mm, I don't have any example for this related to the XML module. Okay, for now.
Okay.
So this is related to the XML only, like how to find the root and then do the transformation based on that. Okay, so transformation using Java. Java is generally not recommended. Okay, because if you will use Java, that will impact the performance, that will run on the JVM, that will need another space and all, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
because your whole code is on data weave, then why to use Java code? Okay. So that's
Uh-huh.
why if you can create a data weave code, that is preferable. Java code is not preferable. Okay. Java code is only preferable when you don't have any other option. Clear?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. But if you created the Java code, make sure that is reusable by multiple components. Okay. If that is reusable, then it it is fine to create that Java code. Otherwise, it is of no use. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Data weave can invoke the static methods of the Java class. Okay. So make sure that from the data weave you can invoke only the static methods, okay, not the normal methods. So here also, when I created these functions or methods, you can say, I created them as static. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because data weave can invoke only static methods, because you are not going to instantiate them. Have you ever worked on Java?
No, but I know about core Java.
Okay, so in core Java, you may have seen that for each and every class, we create objects, right, to use the
Yes.
methods, right?
Right. Right.
But
Yep.
if the method is static, okay,
Mm-hmm.
if it is static, then you don't need to use the object. You can directly call this by the class name dot method name, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Correct.
So that's why here also we create only the static methods, because data weave can use invoke only static methods. That means it will be extracting by using the class name only. It will not create any new object.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Okay. So, yep, DataWeave Java module can also create the instances and invoke the instances method. Okay, so if you are okay, so if you want to have non-static methods, then you will be required to create the instances. Okay, based on that only you can extract that, but not in the data weave. Okay, so it says that Mule Java module can also create the instances. Okay, and invoke the instances methods, but
Mm-hmm.
not from the data weave. From data weave you can invoke only static. Transformation using the scripting languages. Okay, transformation using scripting, you can use Groovy, you can use JRuby. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
Groovy is similar to your Java. Okay, it
Okay.
is Groovy is like a JavaScript plus Java. Okay, and next is JRuby and Jython. Jython is there, Java plus Python. Okay, and Nashon is there, which is also the part of JavaScript. Okay, so these transformations scriptings you can use.
Mm-hmm.
Using supported scripting languages is generally not recommended. As I said, that if you can achieve the task using the data weave, then go for that. Please don't use any other language or any scripting language. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Excessive use of scripting language can affect the maintainability and understandability. Okay, because let's say you left the company and you created one code in Jython. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
another person will come. Let's say I joined the company and I'm trying to update your code. Okay, so I
Mm-hmm.
may not be familiar with Jython. I haven't worked on Python, so I don't know what is this language about. Right, so I have
Uh-huh.
to do it from the scratch. It will take a lot of time. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
maintainability and understandability will get impacted. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so next one. So implementing the message enrichment pattern with the MuleSoft. So Mule event processor use the data from the incoming event to retrieve the data from the external source.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So after the event processor retrieves the required data, let's say you retrieve the required data from the resource, it appends the data to the payload, right? It always appends the data to the payload. But or the other parts of the message or the event. Okay, typically the previous event payload must be stored in the variable and then merged with the new event payload. Okay, let me explain you this one. Let's go back to our doctors for now. Okay, let's say I am having multiple transform connectors here. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
this is there. Okay, and this one request connector is there. L- let's say you have one more request connector. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so whatever you transformed here, okay, you will be sending the data to this one, first one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and whatever will be the output, okay, you will be sending that output to this one. Okay,
Okay.
And in the end, what you will do, you will merge both the output to this one, R1
Okay.
and R2. How you are going to do that? Because here you are sending this data as a response. Okay. That means after getting the response from the second request component, the first request component's response will be disappeared. Correct?
Yep. Yep. Override.
Yep. Yes, it will override. So how you can
Yeah.
use that? Go to the request connector. Rather than storing the data, that the response inside the payload, you can store it inside the variable. So you can go to the advanced and you can provide the target variable. Clear?
Okay.
By
Uh-huh.
default, it is always payload. Okay. So it is, the data is being stored in the payload. So if you will provide any name here, let's say you provided that this is orders data. So let's say order data. Okay. So
Mhm.
from after this component, the payload will remain same what it was before the transform, what it was before the request connector. Okay, because
Mhm.
you have saved the output inside the variable, not in the payload. Clear?
Yep. So if we are
Okay.
creating like instead of target variable, like
Hmm.
regular variable, so which one is preferable?
Target, a target variable is preferable in this case, because if
Mhm.
you extract the data inside the payload, then you will lose this payload again. Let's say if you want to send this data only to the request connector B, right?
Oh,
Then you will
okay.
lose this data, right? That's why
Uh-huh.
the target variable will be used in this case.
Okay.
Clear?
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so this is explained here. And let's say it says same thing. Okay, in the target you can define it. Okay, and let's say you are receiving the data like just a second. Yeah. So you are receiving the data like this, orders, and there is this one more object and comma, then products, this one and this. Okay, and you just need the orders object. Okay, in the
Mm-hmm.
response you got both products and orders, right? But
Right.
you need only the orders object. So what you can do in this one, in the target value only, you can say payload dot orders. That's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you can play with both the target variable and with the target value.
Okay.
Okay. So next, okay. Critical data is often locked up across an enterprise in the incompatible silos. So when an application is integrated with another other application, it needs to know how to parse the data coming in from other applications and format the data to be sent to the understood by other applications. Okay, so
Okay.
this is the application network here. Okay, one application is talking to all other applications, right?
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
if every application is talking to each other, let's say if each everyone is talking to each other, right? So how many connections are there?
One,
How
two,
many
three, four,
connections are there in this case?
six, six. Oh no,
So
like more than
no,
six.
no, no, no. Yes. So it is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 applications are there. So 6 will be
Mm.
connecting to other 6 applications. That means 6 into 6. That will be 36.
Yep.
Correct?
36. Yep. Yep. Yep.
So you need to make 36 type of transformations. You need to create the 36 connections. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How
Yep.
to minimize that? How to handle that stuff? So let's see how we are going to do this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, sorry, it is not 36. It is 6 into 6 minus 1. That is 6 into 5. That is 30 connections are there. Okay,
Mm.
because
Oh,
six, everyone is connecting with other five, right?
right.
They are six, but other five, with other five they are connecting, right? So it will be
Yep.
30 connections. The schema mapping explosion problem. Okay, so in this you may face this explosion problem, schema mapping explosion problem. Okay, so directly transforming the data sent by one application to another application results in many mappings, right? As you can see that. So in worst case, it is n into n minus 1 separate, right? And often custom mapping are required, which is on square complexity. Okay. So have you, you are aware of complexities and all data structure you have learned in the
Not
college
yet.
days? Okay. So
Uh,
on square is the worst complexity. You can say that. Okay.
okay. Okay.
So you can see that these much of mappings are required in this case. Okay. So, how you can handle this rather than doing this, what you can do, you can create one CDM. Okay, that is one CDM, common data model, where
Mm-hmm.
you will be defining the mapping for each and every case. Let's say from application 1 you are getting the JSON data, and for application 2 you were sending the XML data, right? So
Yep.
what you can do, you can define that in the common data model. Okay. So for each case, you are having it inside the common data model. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
So this
Yep.
can
Yep.
be used by each and every application of yours. Okay. So see how much your mappings got saved here. So from ON square, it is now ON. That means how many mappings are there? One, two,
Mm-hmm.
three, four, five, six. That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, it says that at most, in most of the cases, it could be like 2 into n mapping are required to support the n systems. Okay. So let's say if you
Mm-hmm.
are sending the data and extracting the data also. Okay. So in that case, it will be like your 2 into n, that will be 12. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How it is going to help you out? Let's say you were you were having a mapping from app 1 to app 4, right? And there are some changes that is done in the app 1 data. Okay, then you have to do the mapping changes in all the application, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But in this case where you are having CDM, you just need to do the changes in the CDM, that's it, correct?
Yep. Yep. Comment. Yep.
This is also the case. So there are some pros and there are some cons. So pros is reducing the transformation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reusability of CDM level validation, okay, provides the common language. Okay, so it will
Mm-hmm.
convert the data into the common format, and that will be used by each and every application. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But cons are like CDM can be very complex. Okay, why it is complex? Because from each application, whatever the data you are getting from the source, okay, so you have to convert it into the common data format, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sometimes it becomes difficult to convert that data to the common data format. Okay, so it becomes complex.
Okay.
A given CDM may lack data sent or required by some applications. Okay, so the
Mm-hmm.
example that I was giving here, right? Here, DB was giving me only 5 fields, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
to make it like in a common format, I added one more field, that is email with value null, which was not even required, which is not even getting from here. Correct?
Okay. Yep.
So this is how the data, extra data will be added. Okay. And in some cases, let's say in the common data model, you are sending only the 5 fields. So from SAP also, you will remove the email ID. Okay. And you will be removing the email ID from Salesforce also. Okay. So you will be sending the common data model like only these 5 fields, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this
Mm-hmm.
case, you lost the data, right? In the system
Mm-hmm. Yep.
API, you were able to achieve the data, you were getting the data, But to the process API, you are not sending that data. You just lost that data. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is what it is explained here. Choosing the data validation pattern for Mule application. Okay. Let me see how many pages are there in this. Okay, only 5 pages are left. Okay, correct. This was small.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the problem addressed by message validation patterns. Okay. So the context is, in a flow, the mule event may contain invalid or incorrect data. Okay. That was generated by the humans or by applications or by the transmissions,
Mm-hmm.
especially after the response from the external system via connector. Okay. May also have the data that is incompatible with the data transformation or the connector requests later in the flow. Okay. So that
Mm-hmm.
means, let's say you are having a request connector. By request connector, you are getting the data from some API, external API. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
may get some incorrect data sometimes. Okay, let's say they have done some changes at their end and you got some incorrect data, and you have done the mapping at your end based on the data that you were receiving earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Okay.
So how
Yeah.
you are
Correct.
going to handle that? What is the problem? That's explained here. Okay, so incorrect data sent from the downstream systems may cause the data related errors. Correct?
Okay.
Because you receive the data. Let's say earlier you were receiving 5 fields, but they did some changes in their API and now you are receiving only 3 fields. Okay. But
Okay.
you have done the mapping, you have a data weave code which is using all the 5 fields. Then you will get error. Correct?
Right. Correct.
Okay. So you will be getting the data related errors. At a minimum, this could consume unnecessary system resources. Okay, so here you are consuming unnecessary system resources because the data coming from the API is incorrect. Okay, and in some cases, even worse, unexpected data errors could crash the downstream application.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say rather than sending the 5 fields now, okay, from the API you received 5,000 fields, which your RAM is not able to support. Correct?
Okay.
In that
Mm-hmm.
case, it may crash your API. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So these are the problems, and this is the context that could be like how that could be solved. This thing is explained because they want to explain why we are using the validation, how we are using the validations. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now validate the events as early as possible. Okay. So every time, whenever you are extracting the data from anywhere, you should first validate the data. Okay. So whatever you were thinking that you will be receiving from the endpoint, you are receiving that or not. You need to check that. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
So
every
I
time,
want
yep.
question. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
So like data validation, like when it is like necessary. So is it like
Hmm.
every time is using validation is recommended?
No, not every time because it will impact the performance also. But in
Right.
most of the
Right.
cases, let me give you the example in which case you can use this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let's say you are having a flow. Okay, this flow is having uh, 4 connectors. Okay,
Okay.
and this one is a listener. Okay, listener, or you can say scheduler is there. Okay,
Okay.
and this one is a let's say your file, FTP. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you are extracting the data from the FTP, that one file. This is FTP server.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and you also you always extract the orders file from here. Okay.
Okay.
Then here you are doing the mapping, correct? And here
Okay.
you are sending the data to the database.
Okay.
Okay. So you have done the mapping here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say always in the most of the cases you are receiving nearly 5000 of data, 5000 rows in the CSV file. This is a CSV file. Okay. In the CSV file you are receiving 5000 of records, and you are having the data here, mapping here, and this
Mm-hmm.
mapping is inside the parallel for each, let's say.
Okay.
Okay. Parallel for each, and you are doing this mapping for each record independently. Clear? Because this is inside parallel for each, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's say from the CSV file you got one CSV file which was empty, which was just having the headers.
Okay.
Clear? You are sending that data here, you're trying to do the mapping, correct?
Okay. Okay.
Or in the parallel for each you are trying to identify the collection, right? So it may get failed here while doing the mapping because your file is empty. It is not having anything. It was just having the headers part, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So before sending the file for mapping, what you should have done, you should first validate it that the file is empty or not. So the validation should be checked that the collection is null or not. The collection is empty or not. Correct?
Okay.
Then only go for the mapping. So in this case, the validation is required. You should validate in the first case only that the data is empty. Then stop the case here only. Go for the next iteration. Don't go for mapping. Don't go for this DB thing. Clear?
Okay. Clear. Clear. Yes.
Okay. So that's why it is written that it should be validated as early as possible. This will save your performance. This will not impact your performance. That's why you have to use the validation in these cases.
Okay.
Okay. And sometimes we name it as fail fast also. Okay. That means if you are validating the request as early as possible, that means you are making it fail fast flow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So implementing the data validation patterns and Mule application. Okay. So where you can do the validations and all, this is explained here. Common ways to validate. First one is the data weave code. Okay. In the data weave code, you can write if else statement, correct? By
Okay.
which
Yep.
you can check whether the field that you were thinking that you will be receiving, you are receiving that or not, right? So you can do it
Okay.
inside the data weave code, correct? Next thing is by modules and the connectors. So there is one connector, there is one module that is called validation, right? In
Mm-hmm.
validation, there are so many operations that it is null, it is empty, and all. It is not null, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're aware of
Yep.
that
Yes. Yes.
here? Okay, okay, let's leave it then. Okay. So next is your choice router. In choice router, we also sometimes double check the things, right? If we are getting this value equals to 2 or not, like that. Otherwise, go to the default flow like that. Correct?
Correct. Correct. So which
So
one is
in this
recommended?
case,
Sorry.
mhm,
The data web code or choice router? Which one is for good for validation for
okay,
performance?
the choice, yeah, the choice router will help the non-developers to understand what's going on, right? So it will be
Uh,
easier to identify the things. The choice router, the person will see that, oh, if the value is equals to 2, then only it is going to the flow. Otherwise, it is going to the default where there is only one logger. That's it, right?
okay.
But with
Mm-hmm.
the data weave code, only the developers will be able to understand that this is a data weave code where the if else statement is written and how this is being explained, right?
Okay.
So both will take same time. It's not like the data weave code will take more time or your choice router will take more time. But thing
Mm-hmm.
is, it will be like developer and non-developer thing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yep, let's move ahead. Validating and routing response events. Okay. So, data validation returns results can be stored in the variables also. Similarly, that I explained there, right? That in we can store it in the target variables. Okay. In other cases
Mhm.
also, the option is there for each and every case where you can store the result in the variable. Okay. So HTTP listener responses, okay, can set to be the these data validation variables.
Mhm.
Okay. So in the listener, okay, whenever you are providing the response, okay, so in the response data that you are sending, this payload, okay, here
Yeah.
also you can provide the variables. Okay. It's up to you
Okay.
how you are handling the stuff. That's what explained here. Okay. Validating conditions in the flow via validation module that you are already aware of, like, right, validation is there and these much of operations are there in the validations,
Mhm. Okay.
right? Validation operations also provide the easy way to raise the specific error type, right? In the validation, if there will be any error, you will always get that validation type of error, correct?
Okay. Okay.
Right. So this is also explained here. So modules that can provide the validation operation. Okay. Generic validation module is there. This one. Okay. Second is other modules provide the validation operations for specific schema or the data types. Okay. So you can
Mhm.
validate the JSON schema also. You have the validation, this one here. You can see this JSON validate schema is there. Similarly, for XML also validate schema is there. Okay. You can
Okay.
even validate the size by using this validate size.
Okay.
Validate size will validate the size of either your collection, your
Yeah.
array and all.
Okay. Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Your API kit router, right? In API kit router, we are validating whatever that is there in the API specification. Correct?
Okay. Yep.
Next is Java validate type. There also you can validate the type. Okay. And HTTP request operation. For HTTP request operation, you have this validate response status code.
Mhm.
Okay, by which you can validate the response status code. Let me show you that as well. So in the request only, okay, uh, I think in advance it is there. No, 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 not in advance. Where is that? Where is that? This one. See, response validator. You can
Okay.
resp- check the success code validator and all, failure code validator. Clear?
Mhm.
So next thing is combining the validation module operation. Okay. So validation modules provide the generic validation operations. The all scope and any scope can combine the validation operations. Okay. So here
Okay.
in the validation also you have some scope. One is your all, that means whatever validation that is defined in this scope should be passed. Okay. And if we are having any is also there in the scope, that means any one of these validations that are there in this scope passes, then pass this flow. Clear?
Mhm. So let me ask you one question. So
Okay.
if we have combined these three validation, for example, so
Hmm.
we have priority to validate one by one or like
Yes,
simultaneously.
one by one. It will be like one
Okay.
by one. Okay.
Okay.
But in any, it will first validate the first one. Okay. Then it will be
Mhm.
validating the second one. And it will be validating the third one. If all got failed, then failed. If any one of them got passed, that means pass. Clear?
So one is failed, you mean like it's going to pass or it's going to fail? Or that's the rest.
Okay. Okay. There are two things. Okay. There are two types of scopes. One is named all. and another scope is called any. Okay, so any will
Okay.
act as like if else sorry, if else and else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So any means any one of these will get passed. If we are having three validations, if one of them will get passed, that means pass whole flow. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
If all are passing, that's a very good thing, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. For
But
all.
if
Okay.
any one of them passes, then also it's good. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
we are checking whether the number is either 1, either 2, or either 3. Okay, then only pass this.
Okay.
Okay, so if the number is 2, then also it will pass. If the number is 3, then also it will pass. If the number is 1, then also it will pass. But if the number will be 4, then it will fail. Correct? But if we are
Mm-hmm.
using all scope and the number is 3, then it will fail. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is not passing that the number is 1. Correct?
Yep. Yep.
So in case of all scope, everything should be passed, and in case of any scope, only one needs to be passed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next is using validation operation without raising an error. Okay. So you are using this validation, but you don't want to raise the error in case of failure. So how you are going to do that? Validation operations can be used directly inside the data weave code. Okay, so inside the
Mm-hmm.
data weave code also you can use this validation. How you can use that? Validation colon colon is email this or not. Okay, so you can use this inside the choice router. Clear? So it will not raise the error, it will go to another route, right?
Okay. So.
It is like a if condition here to check whether it is an email or not. If it is an email, then go with the this route, otherwise go with the another route of choice router. Clear?
Oh. Okay. Mm-hmm. Got it.
So in this way also you can use the validation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so this is not required. So module fifth is also done.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move to the module 6. So let's see how many slides are there for module 6. From 116 we are starting. It is still 129. No, it's also a small module, that not big, right?
Okay.
I think we can complete this one as well today. So designing the Mule application testing
2 minutes.
strategies.
Please give me 2 minutes. Let me bring my
Yeah,
water.
yeah. Yes, yes,
Please. Thank.
yes.
I'm back.
So, Module 6 is designing the Mule application testing strategies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the end of this module, you will be able to understand why testing is important in the integration project. Okay. Identify the MuleSoft provided framework and tools for the testing for
Mm-hmm.
during the software development lifecycle. You're aware of M
Okay.
units?
Yes.
Okay, perfect then. Design the testing strategies for a Mule application. Okay. Define
Mm.
the test coverage for the flows in the Mule application. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so why testing is important? This is explained here, like to find the problems early in the development cycle and to fix them as quickly as possible. Okay, so we need
Mhm.
testing for that. Okay, as a executable documentation of the code's behavior. Okay, to minimize the risk of the developer for the later to make changes. Okay, to make
Mhm.
collaboration between the developers easily. Clear?
Okay.
So the code is written also, untested code is a broken code. So you should always test the code before deploying it to the production or your other environments even.
Mhm.
Correct?
Yes.
So the architect's responsibility is related to the designing testing strategies. Okay. So it is important to build a comprehensive test suite of the relevant test for each module project. Okay, let me open this SOAP UI. Okay,
Okay.
by that I can explain you in much easier way. Just give me a second. We are on module 6. Okay. Yep. So let's say I am creating one project here. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
So inside the project, we first always create test suites. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So there is an option to create the test suite. Where's that? Where's that? I haven't used SOAP UI from so long. Oh, I haven't imported the Swagger, so it may not allow me to create. Yeah, test suite is there. Sorry, sorry, it's there. So I'm creating it manually. Okay. So in the project, you will be creating test suites. Okay. Test
Mhm.
suite will be like your group of test cases. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say you have some APIs that are related to orders and some APIs that are related to products in your project. Okay. So you
Mhm.
can create one test suite for orders and another test suite for products. Clear?
Okay.
So all the test cases that are there related to the orders will be inside your orders test suite, and those which are related to your products will be inside your products test suite. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So test suite, if you want the definition, you can find it out. That is like a collection of your test cases. Okay,
Okay.
similar kind of test cases, you can say that. So in our case, for the example that we were considering, it was like the test cases that were related to the orders. Correct.
Okay.
So why we are creating this test suite? To ensure the consistent, predictable, and reliable deployments and the runtime operations. Okay.
Mhm.
As an architect, you are responsible for defining these testing strategies. Okay. Particularly as they relate to the application interfaces. Okay. and the Mule applications that implement them. Okay, so as an architect, you should be able to define these test suites in the layman terms, like we can say that. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so type of testings that we have one unit testing. Okay, unit
Mm-hmm.
testing is for testing the functionality of a specific unit. Okay, let's say you are having one web page and you want to check the functionality of a submit button. Okay, so
Okay.
that will come under your unit testing. Clear?
Okay. Okay.
Integration testing is whether you are able to connect to the end server or not. That means, let's say you are having a Salesforce connector. Okay. So, in
Mm-hmm.
this case, if you are able to connect to the Salesforce or not, that will come under your integration testing. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Third one is your performance testing. Performance testing will be like this will include multiple factors that will be like capacity, your response time, your scalability, reliability, resource use, and various workloads. Okay, so one of the example for performance testing is like load testing. Okay, that means your server is able to understand to able to handle 5,000 requests at a time or not. Clear?
Okay.
So that will come under your performance.
Mm-hmm. I have one question.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
there is like two testing. You say like functional unit testing or FUT, or sometimes
Mhm.
the other is TUT. You know. So
Mm,
mm,
which one? Sorry.
like there is FUT and TUT. Yeah.
FUT, functional unit
Functional,
testing.
and there is also TUT. Uh,
TUT. Okay. What is the full form of TUT?
uh, hold on. TUT means like it's like a it looks like unit testing. Uh, Give me 1 second. I know how I'm working, but
TUT
the
testing.
word, huh?
Is it TUT testing?
TUT testing, yeah, technical user test.
Technical user.
Yeah, yeah, technical testing. Like I think when we are building like one flow, and for example, if when we are trying to create in the database something or
Mm-hmm.
insert, so I think we are testing first, yeah. uh, is
Mm-hmm.
that like a unit test? I don't know, like.
I'm not like I'm not aware of TUT testing. Like
um,
TUT is a small and portable unit test framework for C++. No, it is not even explained here.
mhm.
It says that it is related to C++. So I'm not even aware. Like this is a abbreviation that you are using TUT, but it's not there
Like,
on Google.
mhm.
I want full form if you can provide that.
Like TUT testing means
Technical user test. This one.
yes.
Okay, let me check that. Technical user test. Getting the end users and customers to test and evaluate the product features. Okay, I think the user will come and going to test this scenario, maybe
So I think
end users and
so I
customers to
think,
test.
okay, what is a functional testing and like what is unit testing, like difference?
Hmm.
Functional,
Functional and unit testing. Okay. is nearly same, because in the unit testing also you are trying to test the functionality of whatever you have created.
Okay, for example, like when we are testing like our code by something like our flow, we can test. That is unit testing. Once we are creating one flow, we should create some data, test data, and we can create unit testing. The other one is functional testing, which
Mhm.
means by uh,
Okay. Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. I got it. I got it. What is the difference between that? Okay, let me tell you with the example. Okay. Let's say if you are creating one form, okay? You're creating one form to submit the data, okay?
Mhm.
So where you are providing the username and password, and
Okay.
then you are having this submit button here, okay?
Yeah.
So the unit testing is the testing of each and every element. That means you will test that you are able to add the username here or not. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You are able to add the password or not. You are able to click the submit button or not. Okay. So this will come under your unit testing. That means you are testing each and every element. Correct?
Okay.
But
Mhm.
functional testing is you will be checking the functionality of this. That means after clicking the submit button, you are able to get what is required or not. Clear?
Okay. Mhm.
In the unit testing, you are checking that you are able to click this or not. Okay. You are able to click this, but whatever the output you are getting, that doesn't matter to you. You are getting the output, that's it. Okay. But in the functional testing, the output that is required, that you are getting or not, that matters. Clear?
Okay. Let me ask you one question. For example, if you are creating in the database, assume so
Mm-hmm.
creating sales or in the SAP, just creating sales order. So when we are creating sales order, uh,
Mm-hmm.
so we create a flow, and when we
Mm-hmm.
test like uh, each uh, each one. So like
Mm-hmm.
by you testing the units testing, like we
Mm-hmm.
can test this flow is working or not. But when you come to the functional testing, we should get actual results. You mean like
Yes. Yes, that is the thing. Or in the unit testing, you are testing each and every element. Okay, that means in the transform message, you are getting what you are getting the data or not. It is able to transform or not. Second thing is you are trying to connect to the system. Okay, that is also one type of element. Okay, that is also
mm-hmm.
working or not, like that. The things are working or not. You are checking that. That is called unit testing. You are checking each and every unit. Okay. Functionality is you are checking the functionality, what is required, that is coming or not. Okay. The submit
Actual
button is
results.
working
Mhm.
correctly or not. Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay.
Okay. In unit testing, you don't need to worry about the output that you are getting.
Yeah, every
And
time
let's
when I
say
make
in the
unit
output it
testing, I
says
just
hi.
yeah,
Okay.
I focus
uh,
on like the response, the actual outputs. I just mix it, In the unit testing, yeah.
in
So,
the unit testing, you can say that yes, this component is working. While clicking the submit button, I am getting to the another page, that's it. Okay. But in
okay.
functional testing, it is giving me these four fields or not, which are
Mm-hmm,
required.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the
makes sense.
case.
Okay.
Okay. So using the M unit to test mule applications. Okay. So M units are being used to test the mule application. It is a testing tool and the framework specifically targeted to test the mule applications inside the mule runtime. Okay.
Okay.
It tests and the mule application execute in the same mule runtime. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the application and this M unit test cases will run in the same mule runtime. Okay, that same runtime engine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and next is implement test suites using the mule applications. Okay, so whenever you create this, okay, whenever you create the m units, so the files will get created. Each file is one test suite. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? So each file is one test suite, and in each file, the number of flows that are there, those are your test cases. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So each test is itself like a mule flow, right? This each flow is like a mule flow only, right? It uses the operation from munit and munit tools modules. So here are two types, two things are there: munit
Mm-hmm.
and munit modules. So some functions are there in munit, some functions are there in munit tools. So whichever is required, you can use them. Okay. Also can use standard event processors. Okay. So M unit tests are divided into three scopes. So there are three scopes. First one is your behavior. Second one is your execution. Third one is your validation. Okay. So behavior
Mm-hmm.
says that it mean to set all preconditions before the execution. Okay. That means let's say you are setting up the payload here. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
request, so let's say if you're sending a request from the postman collection, right? So from the postman
Okay.
collection, you are sending a post request. Okay.
Okay.
So in the post request, you will be sending some JSON data, right? So that is a
Mm-hmm.
prerequisite for sending the request. Before sending the request, you are doing this thing, right? So that you can add in the behavior. Clear?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So all the prerequisite things, mock and spice, that you can add inside the behavior. Okay. Next thing is execution. Okay. How you're triggering the flow. Okay. So that you
Mm-hmm.
can add inside the execution. Let's say you can have a flow reference that is actually calling the flow which you want to test. Correct?
Okay.
That you can have
Mm-hmm.
it inside the execution, which will trigger this thing.
Okay.
Okay. And it will be having a testing logic, and typically the reference to make the flow and the setting data. So you can have the setting data in both. Either you can have it in behavior, either you can have it inside the execution also. It's up to you. Okay.
Okay.
In the both cases, you can have it. Okay. Next thing is validation. Okay. In the
Mm-hmm.
validation, whatever the result will come, you can validate that. Okay. So in behavior, mainly the mocking and spice will be there. Okay. Mocking and spice, that means if you in the execution you are having a flow reference that is calling a one flow where you were having request connector. Okay.
Okay.
For request connector, you always have to do the mocking, right? Because M units are always used for unit testing, not for the integration testing. You can do the integration testing, but that is not recommended.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Okay. Okay.
So since we are not doing the integration testing, that means all the request connectors or all the connectors that are connecting to the external world, that needs to be mocked. Clear? Because
Okay.
let's say you have
Sorry.
deployed your
Let me interrupt you.
application. Yes, yes.
Okay. So sometimes I have a confusion with the behavioral part.
Mhm,
So you mentioned like we are mocking uh, like any for example HTTP connector and Salesforce,
mhm,
SAP.
mhm.
So how are we going to add uh, this mock? It's like how are we going to decide, like, So
Mhm. Okay. This system units. This is one test suite. Okay.
Mhm.
So See here, and this test suite in the execution, I'm having a flow reference from where I'm
Okay.
calling the flow. Correct.
Right.
So I'm
Uh-huh.
calling this flow. Let me open this flow as well for you. Okay. So this
Okay.
is the flow which I'm calling. Okay. Which is
Okay.
having one logger in the starting. Correct.
Uh-huh.
Which is having one country code, which is the variable part. Okay. And
Okay.
which is calling another flow, this flow.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And next transform message and then again logger. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, got hanged. So see here we are having one request connector, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
So if let's say I don't want to mock this, so how this will create the issue for me? Let's say I deployed this application inside the dev environment. Okay, inside the dev environment, and when you deploy it and you are running M units by CI/CD pipeline, okay,
Yeah.
what it will do? It will it will not do mock this. It will not mock this one because I haven't added the mocking for this. Correct. So it will
Okay.
try to connect the endpoint and get the result. Correct.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So in the dev it is fine, it is fine to get the output by connecting to the external one and get the output. Correct.
Uh-huh.
Let's say if you deploy this code to the production with CI/CD pipeline, right?
Uh-huh.
Then this munit test cases will be executed. Okay. That
Uh-huh.
means here when the request connector will run, it will hit the production environment API of the customer. Let's say it is for creating the orders. So
Mm-hmm.
every time whenever the test case will be executed, a new order will be generated in the production.
Okay.
Correct. Which should
Uh-huh.
not happen, which is not a right approach. Correct. You cannot
Mm-hmm.
hit the production environment for doing the testing.
Yes,
Clear?
correct. Yep,
Correct.
yep.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why your M unit is always used for unit testing, not for integration testing, not for checking the connection is working fine or not.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Correct.
So all the connection, all the request and everything will always be mocked. Okay. So here you can see we have one mock, not for this code. It was for this code, I think. Not able to see that for now. See, for this one, let's say for country code, I just mocked this. Okay, let's consider that it is for a request connector. Okay, so for request
Mm-hmm.
connector, I just mocked this out and I am saying that this will be my payload, this will be my attributes, this will be the error, this is the variables and all, everything. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
clear? So mocking should be there inside the behavior. Clear?
Okay.
Mocking means whatever the output I am getting while doing the testing, the first test, okay, I am setting that as a mocking, that every time this data will be coming. Uh, you remember in the API specification while creating the RAML files, we get the mocking URLs,
Yes,
correct?
correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the mocking URLs, whenever you hit the mocking URLs, you always got the result that are the examples, correct?
Yep, yep.
Okay, similarly this is the same thing. Okay, you are mocking it, you are always providing the same response from the request connector. Okay, you are
Mm-hmm.
not actually hitting the customer's endpoint, you are saying that the output for this connector is this, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is called
Okay.
mocking. Okay, next thing is spying. Spying you can have in multiple ways. So first spy can be of to test whether your data looks like this or not. Okay, let's say you
Mm-hmm.
have one transformation. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you have one transformation and you want to check whether the output for that transformation is this or not.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yep.
say this is the data that you are getting from the request component that you have mocked, and you have one code at your end, that is the transformation. Okay. So the output for that transformation will always look like this, because this is the static data, right?
Uh-huh.
This is the static data. So the response for this should be same always. Correct?
Okay. Uh-huh.
So whatever the transformation you will write, the response should look like this. Okay. So let's say you did some incorrect transformation. Okay. So you will not
Uh-huh.
get the output like this, right? So spy,
Yeah.
the spy will be able to find that thing, that this after running this transformation, this output was not there. Clear?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
So there are other cases also in which you can run the spy. You can run the spy to check whether that particular connector is executed or not. For that also you can add a spy. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So these are some things that you can add inside the behavior.
How
This is
about
the
set
execution.
event, like the set event?
Huh. Set event is like setting the request that you are going to send it here. Okay.
Okay.
Setting the payload. That's it. Okay.
Oh, so my question is like when you are creating a unit, so
Mhm.
uh, which like mocking is like recommended every M units. So set event is like if we don't have like request connector request something, we don't need set event. Yeah.
No, 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 no. Set event is for your, let's say, if you're having a post request,
Uh huh.
this post request, you are sending some data, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So, what data you are sending? You are, because here you are not hitting the endpoint, correct? You are just
Uh
calling
huh.
the flow directly. So, how you are going to send the data which you were trying to send it from here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Correct.
the
Yep.
event, the data that you are sending to this flow is in the set event, set input.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Makes sense. Yep. Yep. Now I got it.
Next is the validation, where what you are doing, you are asserting whatever the response is there. Okay. Let's
Mm-hmm.
say you want to check the code. Okay. That you can check. You want to check the payload that you are expecting this payload, and this payload is returned. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That you can check inside this assert. You can even try to add the expressions. Let's say in the expression, you can mention that my payload should have a correlation ID, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can add a asserts in that. You can check it out. You can have a validations here.
Okay.
Okay, so these three parts are there. Okay, so next thing is unit testing. M units allows you to design and create the white box test cases. So you are aware of what is the difference between black box and white box?
Uh, for like creating like this immunity, which how many coverage something when you are building.
No, 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 no. So there are two things, two types of testings. One is white box testing and another is black box testing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So J6, it's like module, sorry, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
module 5 and 6. Right. So testing, and here I'm going to explain you black box versus white box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So black box, as the name defines, that is black, that you are not aware of the code. Okay. So in
Mm-hmm.
this example, the black box testing is the person who comes here who just knows that this is a submit button that I need to click, and I don't need to worry about whatever the code is written behind the scene. Okay. I need to click on this submit button, and this will be the output that I should get. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is called black box testing, that the tester is not aware of the code. He doesn't need to check the code. He is just aware of the functionality, that this will be the output, this is the input. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is
Okay.
called black box testing. White box testing is where the person needs to be aware of the code. Okay, you should be aware that this here I need to add the username, and inside the username there is this some testing is going on where they will be doing some validations. You must be aware of that. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so this is the difference between white box and black box testing. So it says that munit provides you to create the white box testing, because whenever you create the munit you need to be aware of the code, right? Because
Okay.
if you are aware of the code, then only you can do the mocking and all. You must be aware where your request connector is used, where your set transform message is used. Based on that you can create these test cases. Correct?
Okay. Yep.
Right. So test the internal working and the behavior of the mule flows. Right. Each test case is similar to the mule flow. Run the tests and the mule application in the same mule runtime. You can run it manually in the Anypoint Studio. Correct? You can run it manually, and you can have a CI/CD pipeline also.
Okay.
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 If you're not having CI/CD pipeline, then your test cases will not be executed in the Cloud Hub. Okay.
Okay.
Next is view the test results and coverage in the Anypoint Studio. Let's say you are running it manually, and then after that the coverage report will be sent. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Just a second. Mm.
How are we going to set the coverage? Like sometimes, uh, which one is like the minimum coverage to one in a minute? Like what percentage?
Just a sec. 70%, I think.
Oh.
It should be more than 70%.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yep. Just give me a second. Okay. So it will look like this. MUnit coverage reports. Okay. It should be
Okay.
always more than 70%, as I said. Clear? See here, it is more than 70%. That's why it is clear.
Okay.
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 So this will be the coverage report. This is how it will work. And here you will be getting all the file names. See, these are the file names, the XML file, these files. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it will say that this file will be having four containers, four flows are there, and the 40% was, sorry, what's that? Okay. It was having the 40% coverage for overall. Okay. And 100% coverage is done. Okay, that means that 40% overall is covered. Clear?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
This 40% is for overall, this one, and this one is only for this file.
Okay.
Clear? Okay, so let's move to the next one. So you are aware of munit recorder.
Yeah, but like which one is recommended? So this a mini test recorder or like manually we are working? Uh,
Munit recorder. So
this
how,
is like
there are
recommended.
two ways. Yes, two ways to create this test suits, right? Munit
Uh-huh.
recorder, yes, you can use that. That is a good way to save the time. Like otherwise, you have to create it manually, right? So what
Mm-hmm.
you can use, you can create the test cases using the test recorder. For error flows, you can do it manually also. Okay.
Oh, okay. For success
So
flow, we
it's up
can
to
use.
you.
Okay.
No, no,
But
no.
it
It's
is
up to you how much comfortable you are with the M units. If you are comfortable by creating it by your own, then go for that. If you're not comfortable, then go for the recorder.
no. I mean, the recorder can, for example, make like over 70% coverage. Can
Yes,
he do? Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
But
Sometimes he got
recorder
eggs.
sometimes, yes, sometimes recorder doesn't work properly. What you have to do in that cases, like if you're not, your recorder is not working, in that cases, go to the task manager and stop other like stop other applications, because that test recorder use so much of cpu and all, cpu utilization and all. Okay,
Mm.
so
Okay.
make sure of that. And I have seen that test recorders mostly work on successful cases only. For test for failure cases, you mostly have to do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so yep, this is regarding the test recorder. Helps the developer to reduce the efforts of manually creating the munit tests, provides the
Mm-hmm.
ability to record a specific flow to automatically generate the munit test, records the actual input and output events, then uses the input data for test data and output data for assertions. Clear?
Okay. Mhm. Yep.
And as mentioned, MUnit tests are like a mule flows only. The MUnit modules provide the scopes, okay, and event processors to test the flow and event processors within the flows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yep. So this is how you can execute the like you can have a test cases, test suits. Okay, Anypoint Studio can create the skeleton M unit test suits from the Mule application flows. Okay. So what you have to do, you have this flow. What you can do, go to the right click to the flow, click on M unit, and you will get two options. First option is create the blank flow. Okay, where, by which you can manually create the test case, right? And second option is record the test case. Clear?
Right.
And the test suits will be generated inside the SRC test M unit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next is design and create the test cases. Okay. So validation should be added to each test case. Okay. So you can add the assertions, you can add some validations in this validation scope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, this also we have covered like mocking. I have explained you what is mocking, right? Defining the
Mm-hmm.
assertions also, that I have explained you, that assertions can be done, multiple types of assertions are there. You can check whether the payload is similar to what you are expecting. Equals, it is equals, it is having the same expression where you are giving some conditions, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So multiple types of assertions are there. You can go through them, you can try to identify each of them. It's up to you. I haven't done that because it was not required in my project. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So next is spy on the flow components. Okay. So you can even add a spies. Spies means you are checking whether the connector is executed, whether that executed or not, whether each connector is giving the same output what you are expecting or not, right? So validation will work on the actual response of the flow. Okay. But the spy is for the connector, correct?
Okay.
So running the M unit test cases, how you can run that? There are multiple ways. Either you can right click on the file name and you can say that run this and it will run the test suite. Okay. Or you can click inside the file and say that run the M unit test suite. So it's up to you how you want to run it. Okay. MUnit test case test recorder feature. This slide was already covered. I don't know why we this is again here. Okay. Okay, so this is a walkthrough which is not required because I have already shown you the slide, like how this coverage will look like. Right. Next is parameterized MUnit test cases. Okay, let's say you have one file. Okay, you here also I have the example. I have this uh, project. I have this application. Okay, inside this I am having two types of property file, that is dev and prod. Okay, so if
Mhm.
I will be having the dev environment, this should be considered. Okay, if it is for prod environment, then this should be considered. Okay, so I have done this the configuration here. Mhm. Sorry, in a common config, my bad. So inside that, in the configuration property, I have said this is my dynamic value, that mule.env value hyphen config. Okay. If this value will be dev, then this will be picked up. And if this value will be prod, then this will be picked up. Okay. So this is what I am providing it as a argument, or you can say the runtime property. So how I am going to provide this? Okay. So inside the run, okay, we always do this debug configurations, correct?
Okay.
So inside that, you can also create the MUnit configurations. Okay. So for MUnit configuration for this API, I have created this. Okay. So inside this, I am saying that these are my arguments that I'm passing. My mule.env is dev. Okay. I'm passing one runtime key also for secure properties. That is also here. Clear?
Okay.
So this you can say parameterized.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or this is also parameterized, or what you can do, you can create one YAML file which will be used to pass the values to your this one is that sorry here. So in some cases, let's say I am picking the value from my property file. Okay,
Mhm.
so this is already done. I have already written this YAML file and I am using it as a configuration. So these values will be like used as a parameters.
Mhm.
Okay. So it says that in the configuration file, YAML file will be there. Okay. You can put that here as well. It will override the YAML parameterized. This thing is done. Okay. Parameterized unit test is used when for single test case you want to provide multiple inputs. Okay,
Mhm.
in that case you can use this. Okay, you can check this out, the slides are not that available here for this. Okay, you can check out for the examples. If you will not be able to find that, then we can cover it. Okay,
Mm.
this is not that much important, but parameterized, why it is used, single test case will be used for multiple inputs. Okay.
Okay.
Immunit features for integration testing. Okay, as I said that mostly it will be used for unit testing, not for the integration testing, because
Mhm.
integration testing will involve connecting to the customer's environment. Right?
Okay.
It can be used for integration testing, but it is not recommended. Okay. So Immunit can also be used as a white box integration testing frameworks for Mule applications. To add some assertions, you can check the code coverage report, test tags. Do not create Munit mocks for external dependencies. Okay. So whenever you want to do the external integration testing using Munits, do not mock these. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Features of black box testing, function integration testing. Okay, as I said that black box testing, what you have to do, that after clicking the submit button, this should be my output. I'm getting that or not, that matters to me. Correct?
Yeah, yep.
It, so it is saying that features of black box testing. So end-to-end testing of the Mule applications are fully configured, deployed, and operational. Okay. Interact with the Mule application under the test only through its published interface. Okay.
Okay.
Invoke the REST APIs or SOAP web services exposed by the application. Okay. Send the JMS and other messages. What you can do, as for the UI, it was the submit button, or for other cases, what you can do, you can have a, Postman collection, you can have a SOAP UI, right, from which you can just send the request and you can just check the output. That's it. Okay, that will
Okay.
come under your black box testing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, have no knowledge of the implementation details of the application. As I mentioned, that the person, the end user, needs not to be worried about how the code is being returned for the submit button. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep.
So in black box testing, you can do one more thing. Your mocking APIs, that the API specification, that can also come under your black box testing. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because you are not implementing anything. It is still the interface only. Here.
Okay.
So, okay. Other features of black box testing: observe the application's response and the behaviors. Correct? We are
Mm-hmm.
testing the response and behavior. REST or SOAP responses, we can check resulting JMS messages, we can check disappearance or renaming of consumed files or the creation of the output files. Let's say in the flow, what you are doing, you are creating some files. So you can check whether those files are created or not. That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Changing the status of the record in the database table, you can check that, right? It's just like what you're checking the functionality, that this should be my outcome, that is coming or not. That's it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you are doing the assertion of the response. You are checking the behavior from the application. That's it. Okay. And minimum support needed for the black box testing integration. Testing tools to generate the request. Okay. So ability to trigger the component under the test through its published interface, send the HTTP request. You are able to send the request or not, that you can check. You are able to send the JMS message or not, you can check that. Okay, by this you can have black box integration testing.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that means you are trying to test the external system, connectivity to the external system. Okay. Minimum support needed for this: ability to record the components response. You can check the response, components response and all. Same thing is written again and again. Just words are different. That's it. Ability to define the assertion, that to validate the response. Again, same thing. You are just validating whatever the response is. Like you are validating the status codes, that it is 200 or not. Like you are a tester and someone told you that the response should be 200. You just need to check that. That's it. You don't need to worry about the code. Correct?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Correct. Yep.
So that's the thing that will come under your black box testing. And popular tools for doing the black box testing, you can have SOAP UI, right? This one. You can test it out.
Yeah.
As I said, that you can run the test cases, whatever the output it is, you can validate that. So you can have a validations also. When you will create the test cases, you can add the validations.
Mm-hmm.
JMeter is also there, where what you can check, you can do the load testing as well in the JMeter, right? Multiple threads can be executed at the same time. So UFT, I haven't used it. I'm not aware of this UFT tool. I have used SOAP UI and JMeter for now. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Next is performance testing. So performance testing, we mostly use JMeter. Okay. So performance testing, what is performance testing? To check whether the scalability is there, whether your load testing is there, right? So
Uh-huh.
there are multiple tools to perform this performance testing. JMeter is there, Blaze meter is there, or any other open source performance testing tool can be used. Okay. Later
Okay.
in the class, the optimizing performance module has detailed discussion about the performance testing. So in other modules, maybe in other module, you will be able to learn about this, like optimizing, how to optimize the performance. Okay. So it will be by scaling and all, correct?
Okay.
How to measure the performance of the Mule application and all. So this is the summary. It is important to identify, to define, and to implement the automated tests early in the project. Correct? You should
Okay.
do the early testing, right? To find the bugs as early as possible. Okay. Good testing strategies gives developers confidence about the changing the code throughout the entire life cycle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
MUnit with the MUnit test or unit testing and white boxed integration testing is easily automated and incorporated in the CI/CD pipelines. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And documenting the test coverage for an application is another important part of the testing strategy. Okay. Performance testing is not always required in every Mule application. Okay, because there are some customer who says that I am not worried about the performance. So it, it's not that important for me. I just want this outcome. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's say he says that expose 5 APIs and this 5 APIs should return this result no matter what is.